one last time we walk past the vineyard and climb the hill to the Garden of Gethsemane together.
One last time, Jesus? We'll not be together after this?
Not for a while, John.
There's a change coming in the weather. I wonder how a storm will affect this vineyard.
A vineyard. What a good picture of my relationship with you and the others.
I'm not sure I understand, Jesus.
Just see how the owner has worked hard getting his vineyard ready for the spring. The wall around the field is all repaired. The dry weeds and debris of the winter have been cleaned out. Look here. See how carefully the laborers have pruned each of the vines to promote an abundant crop of sweet grapes.
They've done good work. It's almost as if the work were done lovingly.
Yes, very lovingly, as has been my work with you and the rest of my disciples.
This vineyard should yield a good crop at harvest time.
With the right weather and care, a very good crop, just as I expect from you.
A crop of grapes for me, Jesus? You want me to become a grape farmer?
In a manner of speaking, yes, but not ordinary grapes, spiritual grapes.
Spiritual grapes? How, Jesus?
Remain with me, John, and you will bear fruit, much fruit.
Just what is this spiritual fruit you speak of? What must I do to bear it? Are you sure I'm the right person? Whatever this spiritual fruit is, all too often my life seems more like a wheat patch than a vineyard.
It's not your doing at all, John. Do you remember how Isaiah the prophet speaks of God's vineyard?
Yes, I do. As I recall, Isaiah's words aren't too comforting. God planted Israel as his vineyard, hoping for a crop of justice and righteousness, but all he got were sour grapes. So he destroyed the vineyard, first by Assyria and Babylon, and now by Rome. If it's up to me to bear fruit, I might bear sour grapes too, and then what?
Go back to the beginning of the story, John. It was God who planted the vine. All that was necessary to bear fruit was for Israel to continue to have faith.
Faith, Jesus? That's all?
Yes, John, faith. That's where Israel failed. They wanted another God, so finally God gave them one. He let them go their own way, and that way led to Babylon. Now the Father has sent me to be the true vine. He has sent me to succeed where Israel failed. By faith in the Son, all who believe become branches on the vine who bear fruit.
But what if I bear only a little fruit, Jesus?
It's my Father's will that you bear much fruit, and you will. Just remain in the vine, John. I'll praise you and clean you out, and all that keeps the fruit from growing. Through my word, I'll cut away those influences in your life that would hinder your fruit bearing. Through the sufferings and trials you go through, my word will so strengthen your faith that your basket will overflow with fruit.
What is this fruit, Jesus?
All that you see in me, John. Love for the unlovable, joy even in troubles of life, peace in the midst of turmoil, patience even when pressed to the limit. All these, John, and more. Kindness, goodness, gentleness, self-control.
Yes, those are the qualities I see in you, Jesus. When I get around others, I often don't see this fruit in myself. There's that Thomas who's so pessimistic, always expecting the worst. There's Peter, bragging about his faith one moment, and then speaking like a fool and a non-believer the next. And there's our strange friend Judas, the greedy one. I don't trust that look in his eye. Oh, he's a hard one to love. My fruit basket still has lots of room in it, Jesus.
That's all true, my friend. But the basket isn't for you to fill up alone. All of you together grow fruit for the basket. The vine has many branches. One may excel in patience, another in peace, still another joy. What an abundant harvest there will be when all God's children have the soil of faith enriched with my word and supper and watered with my promises in baptism.
In all of this, Jesus, you have said nothing of God's law. What of the commandments? Honor thy father and thy mother, and thou shalt not kill, and thou shalt not commit adultery, and all the others. Isn't obeying the law also bearing fruit?
All that the law teaches is good, but one can obey it apart from being a branch on the vine. Obedience that is only outward is not the harvest that pleases God. Rather, it is the fruit that comes by faith in me and that the Father seeks.
Then it's not enough to be religious and moral? What about the decent man in the community who has no faith or perhaps follows another God?
Bearing fruit has nothing at all to do with being religious or moral. It has everything to do with being connected to me by faith. When you remain in the vine by faith, my Spirit is the life force that causes you to bear fruit. Apart from me, there is no real fruit. There are just dead branches, fit only to be cut off and burned.
There are times, Jesus, when I know full well the fruit you want me to bear, but I don't. When I know I should love, I hate instead. What then? Will I be cut off?
Only by unbelief can a branch be cut off. Even so, my Father can graft it back in faith, giving it new life that I might still produce crop for him. But that is not your concern. It is for you to remain in the vine by faith and grow strong through my word.
What if I'm slow to bear fruit, or my branch is injured in one of the storms of life? Then what?
That is why all the branches grow on the same vine. The stronger branch with the big green leaves shades and protects the weaker branch struggling to grow. Together, the branches draw strength from the vine and support one another, each leaf and branch intertwined and lifting the others up. And thus, even the weak or the injured branch bears fruit that pleases the Father.
Then whether or not I bear fruit isn't a private matter, Jesus. It's the concern of all the others too.
There are many branches on the vine, none identical and none independent. All grow together, drawing strength from the same root, producing harvest of fruit that pleases God.
Soon we'll be at the garden, Jesus. Shall we leave you here alone to pray as we've done before? Must this really be the last time?
Yes, John. The enemy that would destroy the vine is approaching.
Will he succeed, Jesus? If he does, the vine will never bear fruit for God, and once again the vineyard will be abandoned.
He will succeed, John, but in destroying the vine, the enemy will destroy himself. For though the vine dies, a shoot will spring up from the stump, bringing life for all who believe, enabling them to bear abundant fruit. Do you believe in this, John?
Yes, Lord.
Then don't be afraid. Your basket will be full. Stay here and watch while I pray.